Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal morning, guys. Listen, welcome to Breakfast with the Brand. Business Breakfast with the Brand Special Edition. I am your host, Shaan Rais. And listen, we are about to get started. We have a super special guest today, special edition, first of its kind. Listen, you are not going to want to miss this. This gentleman that we have today, I have known for a nice amount of time. And I don't bring people up lightly. Listen, I do not bring people before you lightly at all. So if I bring someone before you on the platform for the people, by the people, you better believe that he is one of the people that you want to pay attention to and you want to take notes from. So again, make sure pen and paper in hand. Good morning, Brand. Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good morning. Phenomenal over here. Doing
phenomenal.
Very good. Beautiful day. Talk to me. How's the brand feeling right now? What's the temperature in the room?
Infinity.
Temperature in the room is warm as usual. Warm as usual.
Very good.
And we got coffee in the cup, so we good to go over here.
We doing good, right? As long as we got some coffee, everybody's doing
Absolutely.
nothing crazy gonna break out.
Right.
Well,
good,
I guess we'll see. You know, something always comes up. Something always comes
That's
up,
right.
but it's always good. It's always good. I see we have a few people in the chat. I just want to give a quick shout out to before we sort of jump in. I see Jenny. So Jenny, good morning or good
morning,
evening, rather.
Jenny.
Morning.
Jenny. I see Anna. We have Maria, Charmaine, Devon, Karen. We have somebody else. It says Nerd Startup Incubator. Shout out. Good morning.
Okay.
We have Abby. So a lot of people sort of tuning in. A lot of people tuning in this morning.
Very good. What I want you to do, if you can, is put down the questions, right? So guys, listen, we're going to have this is a LinkedIn edition. The gentleman that I'm going to bring on before you is a LinkedIn locksmith, right? And we're going to find out how he got that name. But before we do, while we're talking, I want you to write down any questions that you have, put them in the chat, and Deshaun will get to those questions at the end of the segment. And you'll be able to ask your own questions to this gentleman. So make sure that you have your questions ready. Go right ahead, Junior. So what are we doing like in the brand right now? We got about 5 minutes, maybe 5 to 7 minutes before we segue into that and what that looks like when we bring out the guest. But just talk to us a little bit about what the temperature is within the culture.
Man, the temperature is, let me tell you, temperature's at 1,000. There's never a dull moment. There is never a dull moment at the brand. In fact, we have a Build Your Own Brand challenge coming up. We just came from one challenge, which was the Closing Like a Leader challenge, where we taught people how to build and to create and sell high-end luxury products. And needless to say, so thousands of dollars were created at the free event. At the free event, guys. And this time we're going to be doing the Build Your Own Coaching Business Challenge. And needless to say, thousands of dollars are going to be created at the challenge. As usual. Just as usual. I mean, it's always the same thing. There's always a lot of things going on. Breakfast with the Brand. I really love the new format. Let me say that. We have a ton of people tuning in. I see Chantel Nicholas. I want to send a quick shout out to Chantel Nicholas. How you doing? Garcia, Tracy. Yeah, but it's all good. It's all good at the brand. Everything is phenomenal. I have no complaints. I just have coffee. That's
Very
all.
good. Very good.
No complaints, just coffee. That's all. That's all.
Good. Long as nobody has any tea, any chai tea or something at the table, right?
You know, tea's not always tea. So listen, I have to defend my tea drinkers on the call.
Okay.
Like we have tea drinkers, not on the call, but in the comments, guys.
Not on the call. Wrong
even
call.
On the call too. You listen, like my tea drinkers. Listen, guys, I support you. I love you. Put some hearts in the comment if you love tea. Put some hearts in the comment. You know, Shaan, the world doesn't revolve around coffee. I tell Shaan that
Okay.
all the time. It doesn't revolve around coffee.
I
There
know.
are other things too. There's other things too. Yeah, but I'm super excited to get into it with Mr. YB, the LinkedIn locksmith. A lot of people say, they claim that to be able to do something, but nobody can actually do it. Not many could actually do it. And
That's
I'm
right.
just super excited to see, the value that Mr. YB is gonna bring with us. I'm super excited. I have my pen, I
Very
have my
good.
writing instrument right here, my
Very,
notepad right here, taking notes as usual.
very
But
good.
that's
Very
it for
good.
me. That's it for me. I'm just super excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Deshaun, how are you doing? How are things over there in your neck of the woods? What's going on over there before we get started?
Well, first of all, I am a chai tea drinker. Okay.
Oh,
I'm just saying. I'm
oh,
just
she might
saying.
mysteriously get booted off the call.
I have the occasional coffee.
Okay.
But all is well. All is well over here. In my neck of the woods. Feeling good, feeling great. Um, representing, you know.
Very good. Brand up. Brand up. That's right. That's right. That's right. Guys, listen, let me tell you something. When you set your mind to an objective, this is one thing that I completely appreciate about this gentleman, right? Consistency. Consistency. When you set your mind to an agenda, right? A course, you have to stay determined to that course. If it's an idea that is planted within you, if it comes up from within you, you have to continue to curate. You have to continue to prune that idea and develop that seed so that it can germinate into the world. Listen, become the person, become the brand, become the value. Listen, the more people that say no to you, the better off you are because you're getting closer and closer to the most powerful yes. You're getting closer and closer to the most powerful yes. It only takes one. It only takes one. In the face of a million no's, all you need is one yes. I used to tell people a long time ago that I was only one set of ears away. I said, I'm one set of ears away, one set of ears and one set of eyes away from what I'm doing to absolutely take me to the next level and where I need to be. Right. And I proved it. I proved it. So what I want you to do is I want you to commit to digging in, commit to locking in, and commit to seeing your course through to absolute fulfillment. You will not be sorry. I guarantee you everything that you're going through right now, right? Because we're all human. Everybody goes through something. Listen, no matter what you're going through, I guarantee you that it is worth that and more to get over to the other side. It is worth what you're going through now and more to get over to the other side. Because when you get over to the other side, it's a completely different world. It's a completely different world. I don't know if you've seen the Matrix. I know they have a new Matrix coming out, right? It's absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait to see it. I'm one of those people, one of those fans, right? But listen, there's worlds within worlds. There's literally worlds within worlds. And you know my story. I'm just a kid from Harlem who God chose to show his favor and mercy through. And while I was in Harlem, when I was younger, that was the only world that I thought existed. I want you to understand that. So the world that you're in and what you're going through right now may be the only thing that you think is possible or the only thing that you think exists. But I guarantee you that there is worlds within worlds within worlds. And sometimes all you need to do is read a book to see another world. Sometimes all you need to do is get a coach to see another world. Sometimes all you need to do is get on, like, come to a podcast, right? To see another world. So that's one of the things we're going to do today. We're going to introduce you to another world because I know a lot of people are like, we went from crickets to digits in the face of the pandemic on Facebook. And they're like, okay, we're gonna hit Facebook. And some people see, phenomenal speakers and phenomenal orators on YouTube. And they say, we're going to crush YouTube and we're going to stay locked into YouTube. And some people are seeing people crush it and kill it on Instagram. And they're like, we're just going to stay on Instagram. And that's the world. There's a wide world. And there's worlds within worlds. And today we're going to introduce you to the world of LinkedIn. So I'm just excited, guys. But anyway, take that motivational message in that moment and just breathe life into it. Let it resonate and breathe life into it. Jason, do you have any words before we go? Mr. B, looking phenomenally branded over there.
Thank you, sir. Nah,
Yes,
listen,
sir.
I'm just excited, and I'm loving this new space that we're in. I'm loving the support from the community. You know, they're definitely showing up and embracing this movement. So I'm just glad. Everything that you're saying is so true and so factual. So like I'm just, you know, I'm with it. I'm just want to get keep everything moving and let's be on to the next. But I'm excited about the guest, you know. As again, this is a new space, and I'm excited to hear what he's going to share with us, all the nuggets and jewels that he probably going to drop on us, and even being able to think about the next level of execution after receiving all of the information that he'll share with us on this morning. So, yeah.
Very good. Very good. Any last words before we begin, Junior?
Nah, I just want to let everybody know, like, please have your questions ready. This is like, you know, they say you have to take the opportunity of a lifetime in the lifetime of the opportunity. So this is one of those things. So just please have your questions ready for when YB comes on. I know it's going to be fire.
Very good. Very good. So if you're ready, we can go ahead and segue, Mr. B. Let me go ahead and give this gentleman the phenomenal opening that he deserves.
All right, and we'll be right back.
Listen, guys, I very rarely vouch for people, right? Because it's not easy to bring someone onto the platform that you built for the people. They have to be of a certain caliber. They have to be of a certain caliber, and they have to be of a certain character. So, you know, over here, we put meaningfulness over money, right? We put impact over income. We put people over profit. And we put relationships over revenue. Guys, but the person that I'm going to bring up today, Mr. Robert Y.B. Youngblood, is someone that I've known for some time, and I've seen his work, and I see his brand growing, which means he's doing more and more work within the industry, right? And he's working with some phenomenal people that I know, people that I can vouch for. Right. So it's comfortable for me. It's completely comfortable for me to bring this gentleman before you and ask him to offer his wisdom to you, offer his experience, and also morals, values, and principles. So with no further ado, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Mr. Robert Y.B. Youngblood, the LinkedIn locksmith. YB, how you doing today, brother?
I am tremendously blessed by the best, Shaan. How about yourself, good brother?
Brother, I have no complaints whatsoever. We here with you.
Yes, sir.
We here with
Well,
you, so I'm good. I'm good. I feel great. I want to bring you up and let you just kind of first give us a story, right? So we want to start off with the story. How in the world did you come up with that name, the LinkedIn Locksmith? Because I'm all about the brand. So tell us how you came up with that.
Yeah, before I get into that, man, I heard you talk about Harlem, and so I automatically thought about my roots. I'm a native of the Bronx, New York, grew up in High Bridge, right across from 155th, and you know, grew up in a single-parent home. My father was actually murdered when I was 2, and I often tell people that story not to gain any sympathy whatsoever, but to let people know I'm not a big deal, right? I'm somebody that, you know, that grew up with a mother who wanted me to overcome, to become, and help me to tap into this side of being compassionate. I'm a compassionate connector. And so me becoming a LinkedIn locksmith was really just about me operating in my gift of attracting people and being able to lock arms with somebody who was a marketing genius. I shared with you earlier that I had the chance to do some work with a gentleman, David Shands. He and I, we jumped on a call and was talking to him a little bit about some LinkedIn stuff. And he was impressed because he wasn't really using LinkedIn much. And then he had a talk. He did a talk. We were both a part of Breathe University, which is Eric Thomas' his community. And he talked about the importance of needing a locksmith, right? Either needing a locksmith or being a locksmith. And so I volunteered and told him that I did some work with LinkedIn. And he said, yeah, YB, you are the LinkedIn locksmith, because I was able to unlock LinkedIn for him. And so because he's a marketing genius and because I trust his value that he brings to the marketplace, I said, I'm going to snatch that. And it's been working for me ever since. So that's how I became the LinkedIn locksmith.
Very good. Very good. So through David Shands, right? Shout out to David Shands. Definitely a
Sleepers for suckers.
marketing
Sleepers for
genius
suckers.
and guru.
Yep.
That's right. Sleepers for suckers. I love it. I love it. So in the beginning, you started telling a story about your upbringing, which speaks to the humility, right? It speaks to the authenticity. And sometimes it's very important for us to bring that story to light. So do you want to take a couple more minutes and add on to that? I don't want to brush that over. Yeah, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, growing up in the Bronx, and for those of you who know anything about New York City, it's gritty, it's challenging. You know what I'm saying? We're told we you know, you probably won't make it out. You know what I'm saying? You probably won't live past 18. All those things they told us. I'm proud to say I'm 42 years old. I transitioned out of the Bronx at the age of 17. Thank God for organizations that, you know, promoted education, because as a result of that, I was able to go on a Black college tour. I ended up in Virginia. Shout out to Virginia Union University, which is celebrating its homecoming this weekend. And so I came down to Virginia Union, became a student, earned a full scholarship to come here. But it took me 8 years to finish a 4-year degree. Right? It took me 8 years to finish a 4-year degree, not because I was going for a master's either. A lot of it was because I was operating too much in my gift, right? I was operating too much in my gift. I was too much of a social butterfly. And as a result of being a social butterfly, it took me off course, and ended up having to leave school for a little bit. Came back to New York, tri-state area, experienced 9/11. That was a major a change in my life, helped me look at things in a different perspective. But when I came back to school in 2002, I was a totally different gentleman, focused. My mindset was on my positive mindset was on 1,000. And I said to myself, listen, it's only going to take me 2 years to get the rest of this degree finished. And I graduated in 2004 and walked right into entrepreneurship from there. But, you know, coming up in New York, man, you gotta have a certain type of mindset. You gotta have that go-getter mentality, which has transitioned for me to a go-giver mentality, right? So a go-getter mentality has transitioned to a go-giver mentality. And that's why LinkedIn is the place where, you know, I reside, because it allows me to operate in that go-giver mentality, knowing that if I can help enough people get what they need, what they want, it'll in turn open up the door for me to get what I need and what I want.
Very good. Very good. So there's a theme that I hear, right? I have an ear for the brand, and I actually wrote something down while you were speaking, guys, and that's barriers to breakthrough, right? So you want to go from barriers, because that's what he was experiencing, and that's what he related to you, barriers. You're not going to make it past 18. You know, people like you that were born under this socioeconomic depraved status in place, your positioning, right? Your beginning positioning is not your final positioning, right? So you want to take the barriers and use those to create breakthroughs in what you're trying to do. So thank you so much for that. I literally have chills right now. That's super powerful. So tell us a little bit about the community that you come from. So I heard you mention Eric Thomas, David Shands. I know you've done work with Marshall Fox, Kendall Ficklin. What tell us about the power of community, the importance of community, and how vital that is to an entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, man, you know, you mentioned some top names, and I wouldn't have gotten there if it wasn't for, you know, you talked about barriers to breakthrough, which I love that title. I'm gonna snatch that, so I appreciate you mentioning that. That's a dope name. I kind of have another David Shands moment. So thanks so much for that. But
You're welcome.
but I had a mental health breakdown in 2015. I had a mental health challenge, and it prompted me to seek out therapy. It prompted me to seek out motivation on YouTube, and that's how I found Eric Thomas. You know, Eric Thomas didn't just show up You know, at that time he existed for quite a long time, but that's when I found him. And so, you know, went through the process of you know, ordering some materials and got a double disc DVD, which focus on GED to PhD. And as I'm watching the DVD in my house, as clear as you and I are talking right now, Shaan, the Holy Spirit said, bring ET to Richmond, right? Bring ET to Richmond. Now, I'm a connector. So for me as a connector, I don't have any problems with networking, but I had a challenge finding him. I found an Eric Thomas who was from Detroit, who was a pastor, who went to an HBCU, but it wasn't Eric Thomas, ET, the hip hop preacher. And it wasn't until I got on the phone with a gentleman who was referred to me that said, hey, by the way, ET is my mentor. And what's crazy about that conversation, Shaan, is the fact that I never once told this dude I was looking for ET.
That's right.
So out of the blue, my man just came through and mentioned that. So to make a long story short, I ended up going on a search to find ET. I got on the phone with CJ, right? You and I, we both know who CJ is, right? That's CJ is the president of Eric Thomas and Associates. He's ET's right-hand man. And I had a conversation with CJ, and I was telling CJ what the Holy Spirit told me and how I was going to bring him to Richmond. And you know how CJ do. He's very direct. He was like, cool, that sounds real good. You sound like a real sharp gentleman. However, 98% of people never follow up. Don't be a part of the 98%.
There you go.
Now, you and I, we both, you know where we come from, right? So that's a challenge to me. Like, dude, you're not going to talk to me. Yeah, you're not going to talk to me any old way.
That's right.
So that prompted me to go on a pursuit, you know, which started out with me taking a 13-hour journey to St. Louis for my first conference. I got into Breathe University. I attracted Kendall Ficklin as my coach.
Yes, sir.
Kendall was the first one to put me in a position to increase my visibility. He invited me up to DC to speak to his team.
There you go.
And then it just opened up from there. And you know, I started working on LinkedIn profiles, doing profile makeovers, doing LinkedIn consulting, and now I'm doing LinkedIn coaching for some top folks. And so, you know, but it all started with a setback. It all started with a barrier, as you mentioned, right? So I had a barrier, had to break through the barrier, was able to get with some people to help me elevate to the next level. And then I was able to tap more into my gift of being a connector and a promoter, which has proven fruitful for my professional and personal brand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, you know, guys, I'm a student for life. Let me just tell you guys, like, I'm a student for life, right? So when phenomenal individuals, and when I say phenomenal individuals, I don't want you to think super accomplished, multimillionaire, multi-billionaire. No, real people. Real people. I'm a student of real people. I have a heart for sociology and I love people. So I take out my pen and I write. And while Mr. Youngblood is speaking, I write down when the student is ready. Right? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So he said he had a mental health breakdown, and that's when, right? When the soil was ready, when it was fertile, when it was open, when he wasn't in the connecting piece, when he wasn't in his, you know, flamingo, or right, when he wasn't in that high night, right? So when that happened, then the student appeared to him. He said he was always present, but he wasn't present to him until the time was ready. So if you think that you're trying to do something and it's not working out for you right now, it's okay. It's okay. Be humble, be patient, and persevere, because when the time is ready, the student will appear. Then I heard him say that he willed it into existence. He set the intention. And then let it go. Let it go. So some of you plant a seed and then you run behind it and try to dig it up to see if it's grown. Leave it alone. Leave it alone, because when you try to force it, you ensure that it does not grow. Right? If you're writing, listen, if you're a student, write that down. When you try to force it, what you do is you force maldevelopment. You force ill development. When you plant the intention, have faith that you're going to will it into existence and leave it alone. Go about your day. And then someone came to him and just said, oh, Eric Thomas is my mentor. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So let's get into the deep content, right? So you published a book, right? You were a co-author in Speak Up, the ultimate guide to dominate the speaking industry. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so shout out to the Black Speakers Network and Brian J. Oles, who's the founder, CEO of the Black Speakers Network, who I was able to connect to as a result of my relationship with Marshall Fox, who's the number
There we go.
one graphic designer, brand strategist in the world, in my opinion. Right, he's just
Shout
hands
out to
down the
Marshall. That's
GOAT.
right.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Marshall's the
Marshall.
GOAT. Yeah, shout out to Marshall. But I connected with Brian J. Oles, and as a result of operating in my lane of being the LinkedIn locksmith, I was invited to contribute a chapter that talked about how speakers could leverage LinkedIn to enhance their network and net worth. Because what I've learned over the last several years is that there's so many people that are not using LinkedIn because they feel like, well, I already have a job. So because LinkedIn is for job seekers looking for recruiters, I don't need that. So I don't need to be on the platform. And that's so far from the truth. And so what I did was I laid out some very simple steps on how to leverage LinkedIn as a speaker to be able to increase your network and net worth. And so it became an Amazon bestseller. I'm still out there in these streets. I'm doing my Master P. You know what I mean? I got books in the trunk. I don't have no problems doing hand-to-hand combat as Kendall has taught us. But the reason why I love promoting that book is because there's so many people who have a desire to build a speaking business, but the challenge is they listen to all these other people who are not doing what they're striving to do. And so in this book, it features Les Brown. Okay. It features Dr. George C. Frazier. Right. It features 30 other actual speakers who are out there getting it in the community, doing their thing. And I'm just blessed to have been a part of that particular publication, which is blessing so many lives all across the world. We're not even saying all across the country. We talk about all across the world. I literally had a young lady from England order book and had me ship it out there to her. And so, we're just excited about the impact that book has had. And as a result, I became a published author as a result of being a part of a co-author book project.
Beautiful, beautiful. So just real quick, right? Where can they order that? Would you rather them order it from you specifically? Because as the hand-to-hand, combatant, you get much more when people order directly from you than Amazon, right? Love Amazon,
no question.
But that's the Dallas piece. There needs to be some work on that. So go ahead.
Yeah, no question. Your LinkedInLocksmith.com, YOUR, your LinkedInLocksmith.com is where you can order your copy of Speak Up. And you're exactly right. I'm currently in the publishing space. I work for the #1 self-publishing company in the world, self-publishing 30 days. And what we encourage our authors to do is nothing wrong with Amazon. Amazon is great. Amazon is a great company. However,
that's right.
You are an author. You'll see more profit if you had your own landing page, you had your own branding structure. You can not only generate more revenue, but you can control access to the contacts that you receive. So, for example, if folks from this call decide that they want to purchase copies of Speak Up, that gives me another opportunity to make connections. Whereas if you ordered it from Amazon, first of all, I wouldn't see none of that, because that's going to go to the people who published the book, right? So that's going to go to Black Speakers Network. And shout out to Black Speakers Network. I want them to get paid too. But that would come to me, right? The second thing that wouldn't happen is I wouldn't know who actually ordered the book. So one of the things that I do in my company, whenever somebody orders a copy of my book, there's two things that happens. The first thing is they're going to get a call from my daughter. I have a young daughter, 2 daughters actually, but they're going to get a call from my 11-year-old daughter to say, Mr. Shaan Rais, just want to let you know that your copy of Speak Up is in the mail.
Wow.
Right. So I'm preparing my daughter for entrepreneurship early. Right.
That's right.
So and understanding that a part of our brand is family. Right, is understanding family and faith, being able to empower people and inspire people, help them to live out their God-given purpose. But then the second thing you're going to get is an opportunity to do a 15-minute strategy call with me to talk about your goals or gaps. Right. So I'm going above and beyond the call of duty.
Right.
Why? Because I learned a valuable lesson. Give more value than you take in payment. Give more in value than you take in payment. And so many people want to do the opposite. They're like, listen, pay me first and then I may just give you what you paid for. You feel what I'm saying? So by ordering a copy of that, and then on top of that, individuals who support this project, they actually get to support a scholarship that helps women of color to go to trade schools, because I created a scholarship in my mother's name. My mom worked for the telephone company for several years, over 30 years, and she was a technician. And I didn't know anything about skilled trades, but because she was in that line, I want to be able to support more women of color to go into careers like welding or HVAC or electrician. Why? Because those are professions that are needed, and there is no cap to being able to generate a significant income when you are in the trades. So yeah, for those who choose to support that, they support multiple causes with that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for that. See, listen, guys, when I tell you character, credibility, I will never bring anyone before you who lack in those areas: character, credibility, morals, values, and principles. You know, you said something that really resonates with this brand spectacularly. Number one, everybody knows that I'm a self-published author, 2 times around, working on 3 and 4. Listen, as an entrepreneur, take back ownership. Write that down. Take back ownership. If you don't know how to do it, reach out to someone who has done it so we can help you do it. Because contrary to conventional wisdom that says, you know, when you get to the top, or when you're on your way to the top, or when you know people that are absolutely at the top, then you become a little bit snobbish or offset. That's the wrong mindset. Number one. Number two, if you don't like rich people, you'll never get rich. So you got to change that mindset. You got to flip that switch, right? Don't let their perception twist you up and keep you broke, right? Don't think that you have to love rich and affluence and people that have it. You have to welcome that into your circle, right? So change the mindset. We have a training called Money Mind versus Monkey Mind. And you definitely want to be on the money mindset, right? But what he said was, get it yourself. Do it on your own. You're going to learn so much about yourself when you take back ownership. So anyway, the link is down below. Make sure you go to that link and purchase that book. My people, listen, if you're on this call, you already know what we do and how we do it. This is going to give you the keys to unlock your LinkedIn profile so you can get the right leads. And you could create a phenomenal business, right? That'll take you from where you are to where you want to go in a small amount of time. There's a reason why he's here. There's a reason why we're giving this to you the way that we are. Absolutely free, so you can utilize it and you can absolutely change your life. Okay, so that link below, your LinkedIn Locksmith, Speak Up, the ultimate guide to dominate the speaking industry. Okay, now you said something to me first before we go into that, before we go into frameworks, before we go into codes. You said something that really resonated and connected with me when you said something about family. So I know that you've recently celebrated your 16th anniversary, YB. It's phenomenal, brother. You got to share values. You got to share values, morals, principles. Speak to us about how important family is and loyalty to family and having family in your life to create fabric for a phenomenal brand and the life of entrepreneurs. Tell us how important that is.
Yeah, so I don't know if folks caught it at the beginning, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Shout out to my wife, Janelle. We've married 16 together, 17 years, but we both grew up in single parent homes. So what does that mean? That means our mothers weren't married.
That's right.
Which means that we're ultimately breaking a generational barrier, right? There's that word, right? We're breaking a generational barrier and doing something that our parents have not done, right?
That's right.
So by being married 16 years, we're setting a phenomenal example for our 2 daughters, which is a blessing, because I've been in my daughters' lives longer than my father was in mine. So that's another generational barrier that's broken. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So that means something to us, because, you know, when you have a family, and family is not just blood, you know, family is not just blood, man. It's people that you can relate to, people you can grow with, people you can show love to. And so for me, my wife is everything. My wife is someone who is my first investor, right? My wife invested in me
That's
before
right.
I knew anything about investing, right? So, matter of fact, my wife and I, we first started out as business partners. I mentioned when I graduated from college, I got into the world of entrepreneurship, and I was doing direct sales multi-level, right? So I was involved in direct sales multi-level. That's how I actually gained a lot of the skill sets that I use today, right?
That's right.
He was one of the first people that decided she saw the vision of what we were talking about in business. So she became part of my business team, and then she became a part of my life team. And so we've been rocking for 17 years. I actually went to college together. So we both went to Virginia Union together. Didn't date while we were in college. But there's a funny story behind that. I'll tell you behind the scenes. But
Yes, sir.
at the
Yes,
end of the
sir.
day, family means everything to me, man. And it's all about leaving a legacy. And that's the reason why I do what I do in terms of building my business, because I want to show my children that you can have a choice to work for someone else exclusively or to employ multiple clients, and have them you work for them as well. So it's all about options. And my wife is a tremendous blessing. My daughter's a tremendous blessing.
Very good, brother. So let's get into it. Let's get into the code, the frameworks. I know that you're doing the Level Up LinkedIn tour. So every time I look at you, you're brother, it's like we're free now, right? COVID is kind of
Yeah,
on cancel,
yeah.
on hold, and we're able to fly, brother. I see you running around. I see you moving, shaking hands, kissing babies. Tell me how good that is, and tell me what that plan looks like. Level Up LinkedIn tour. I think you said
Yeah,
10K in 90 days using LinkedIn. Talk about that.
yeah. Absolutely. So as Jada Kiss said, we outside, right? We outside. So, the world's opened up. It gives us the opportunity to travel. And so I've had the opportunity so far over the last 90 days to hit a number of cities: Atlanta, Columbus, Ohio, Denver, Colorado, Baltimore, Maryland, here in Richmond, Virginia, just to empower, inspire entrepreneurs to level up on LinkedIn. What I've learned is that a number of entrepreneurs still do not see the value of using LinkedIn because they have this mindset that LinkedIn is only for people that's seeking employment, when in actuality it has blossomed into a platform that allows for you to promote your professional brand and to attract the right clients and prospects. Now, I know a lot of folks look for lead generation. I'm not a big fan of lead generation. Why? Because you can get a lead by opening up the newspaper. You can get a lead by getting into the telephone book, right? I don't know if they still got telephone books now, the yellow pages, right? But what you want is prospects, right? You want a prospect. A prospect is someone that fits a specific character or specific characterization based on what you set for yourself. So, for example, I look for women entrepreneurs who are college graduates that have transitioned from corporate America and are now entrepreneurs. They're great at what they do, but they struggle when it comes to selling, networking, and using LinkedIn to attract new clients. Now, I'm open to working with folks who want to work with me. Shaan, you're not a woman, right? You know what I'm saying? So you're an
Definitely.
entrepreneur. You
That's
wanted
right.
to leverage LinkedIn. So I work with a specific target. I know who I'm looking for, but I
That's right.
attract people who want the result that I'm able to get. So wherever I go, I'm teaching people the 10 keys to 10K in 90 days using LinkedIn. And so wherever I go, if I'm in New York, or if I'm in Philadelphia, if I'm in, Texas, or even Kentucky, because I go wherever folks want to learn this message. I'm teaching those keys and helping people to level up on LinkedIn. And I'll tell you why, because what happens is on LinkedIn, first of all, LinkedIn is where the money resides. That's the first
Talk
thing
about
people
it.
got to understand, right? LinkedIn is where the money resides. But number two, the organic reach of LinkedIn is so phenomenal, right? It's so phenomenal that, if you understand just a few keys, it'll open up the door for you to build strategic relationships that lead to outstanding outcomes. And so that's really what the Level Up on LinkedIn tour is all about. Any city that I go to travel, I'm identifying entrepreneurs who want to listen and learn and level up. and then I'll invite them into my LinkedIn mastery program so we can go deeper and build stronger relationships. So I can teach them not only how to make their money back, get a return on the investment, but how to 10x that and do 10K 90 days using LinkedIn. And now there's no cap to that. I'm saying 10K because I'm keeping it modest. I got a client right now. She's on pace to about to do about 25K. And then I just got another client who told me he's on pace to doing 100K, and he and I have been working together since last summer. So there's people that get different results, but I like to over deliver and under promise, right? Over deliver and under promise. So yeah, that's 10K in 90 days using LinkedIn is definitely something that's doable and possible for those who are serious about execution.
That's right. That's right. So 10 keys to 10K. I love it, guys. Listen, the reason why I brought this gentleman to you, right? The reason why I brought this gentleman to you, and I'm going to be 1000% transparent, right? When I was looking to get my LinkedIn right, and you know me, the king of branding and positioning. When I said, okay, let me move into the LinkedIn space and get this right, I didn't just say, oh, well, I'm going to do 10 hours of research, 15 hours of, 10 days. I'm going to let me spend 3 months on LinkedIn. I said, no, why would I do that? Listen, you buy speed. You invest. When you make an investment, you buy speed and you buy years of people's experience. So that's what I did. I said, this gentleman knows what he's talking about. I saw him working with I saw him working with the right people in the prominent positioning. I said, okay, what's the number? And I didn't care what the number was. I said, I need to get on a call and we need to go through it. So you can tell me exactly what it is that I need to do in order to let me leverage, right? Leadership leverage. Leaders leverage the education and experience of other people. Leaders leverage the education and experience of experts. Seek out the experts, no matter what the cost is. Trust me, it's going to take you much longer, because if you value money or time, if you value money over time, then you're going to spend a lot of time trying to figure this out. But if you value your family, if you value your freedom, if you value your health and wealth and being able to fly and travel and do the things that you want to do to create that ideal dream life, that means that you value money, you value time over money. So you use money. Money is a tool. You use money to buy back time. So I said, okay, listen, LinkedIn locksmith, right? YB Youngblood, the master, the king, the LinkedIn locksmith. Let me invest and leverage your expertise, your years of experience, your decades of experience in LinkedIn to buy me some time. And I sat down with the gentleman and I got the information that I needed to take my brand on LinkedIn to where it is. And that was integral. That was a key component to what I've done, which was, and literally when we talk about numbers, we went from crickets to digits in the midst of the pandemic. So in the worst pandemic that there was, we crossed multiple 6 figures in less than 90 days, right? So when we talk about numbers, when he says no cap, that's a humble estimation. It's a humble estimation. Listen, you need a multitude of masters, right? Don't chase money, chase mastery. You need a multitude of masters to help you get from where you are now to where you want to go. So one more piece before we close. Go into that LinkedIn mastery program and what the third cohort looks like, how the first 2 were successful. That 12-week group coaching program. Just talk about it for a minute and let them know what you have for them.
Yeah, so the 12-week group coaching program is called the LinkedIn Mastery Program, and it allows me to develop an intimate relationship with my clients, with my participants. I'm teaching them how to literally develop and leverage the Mmd Framework. Right. So the foundation for everything that I do is called the Mmd Framework. And so the Mmd Framework stands for mindset, methodology, and discipline. Right. Mindset, methodology, and discipline. And I go in that exact order because I could give you all of the methodology, but if you don't leverage the information to execute, you won't get any results. And then you'll be looking at me like I'm crazy and saying this stuff doesn't work. It's not that it doesn't work, it's that you didn't have the right mindset to see things the right way. When I talk about mindset, the very first thing that I tell people is a marketing tool, first and foremost. When you understand that LinkedIn is a marketing tool, then you have to ask yourself, what are you marketing to the community, right? And so we focus on mindset. We help people to see LinkedIn as a marketing tool. We help people to understand that they are a brand. The majority of the people who are coming to me are people who have transitioned out of corporate. And so the corporate mentality is that I stay loyal to one company. And then if I don't like it there, then I go to another company and I stay loyal to that company. But the mindset that I'm encouraging people is to see their current employer as a client. Right? See their current employer as a client, right? And then, as Kendall says, go get 3 more, right? So see your current employer as a client. Now, when you start to see your current employer as a client, then what happens is you start to see yourself as the business. And then what that says to you is that, okay, cool. If I was able to land this $80,000 client, right, i.e. your employer, then who else can I give my time and energy and services to? Because that's ultimately what you're doing as a consultant, right? You've been brought in to perform a specific task, to produce a specific result. And if you can get that result for one organization, you can get it for multiple organizations. So that's a major shift for a lot of people, because most people are just so focused on my job, my job, my job. Here's the reality. It's not your job. Your position is a line item on an income statement that's listed under expenses. If at any point they can't meet the level of expense that your position is listed as, they're going to cut it. Why? Because they want to save the company.
Hold on, brother.
That happened to me.
I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Hold on. When you say things that are so powerful that really shift the mindset, I have to pull back a little bit and put the magnifying glass to it, right? So we're going to put that under the microscope. I need you to go through that slowly one more time. You said it's an expense on a income statement. What did you say?
Income statement. Yeah. So my wife is a CPA, right? So I use a lot of big accounting words, right? So I'll break it down for you. When you think about a business, right, there's 2 main documents that measures the health of a company. Their balance sheet and their income statement. The income statement is it shows your expenses and your revenue. Okay, so each and every one of you that's listening, I don't care if you don't have a business. If you say I don't have a business, you are a business, and I can prove it to you. If you're getting money, that's revenue. If you're paying out money to buy stuff, that's expenses. So a company, that whoever you're working for, they have to pay you. That's an expense to them. Now, in essence, and shout out to my guy, a few of my folks that have helped me see things differently. Employees are actually assets, but many companies see you as an expense. You know why? Because they got to fork over their revenue to pay you.
Isn't there another word for that? I'm sorry. When I hear expenses, I hear assets and liabilities.
Liabilities. That's exactly what it is. So that's why we talk about. So we talk about the two documents, right? So a balance sheet measures assets and liabilities as well as owner's equity, right? Owner's equity, right? But when you think about a company, so here's where this revelation came from, Shaan. In 2012, I was laid off from a nonprofit position. But for 6 months before then, I'm walking around like my position.
Yeah.
And then I come in July 15th and they give me a letter that says your position is being eliminated in a month. It wasn't my position. Right? It wasn't my position. If it was mine, I would have been able to keep it.
That's right.
But it wasn't mine. It belonged to them. So from that mindset, what I began to teach myself and get revelation on was that, number one, when you work for a company, it's temporary. Now, temporary could be 40 years, but it's temporary.
That's right.
Unless you own the company, your time with that company is temporary. So that's number one. Number two, there are 3 main assets that you should be cultivating when you work for anyone, because at any moment they can tell you we no longer need your services.
Pen time, guys. Pen time.
Right. So there's 3 main assets. The first asset is the personal relationships that you establish while working for that particular company.
Very good.
I have former coworkers that I've worked with that are now my clients.
Likewise.
Notice what I'm saying to you, right? So,
Yes,
so when
likewise.
you cultivate those relationships, they may produce an opportunity down the line that you could service those people, but they're only going to work with you because they know, like, and trust you. So the first asset that you want to cultivate and build with are the personal relationships you build while you're working for that organization. And now most people probably listen and say, okay, what the heck does this have to do with LinkedIn? We're going to get to that in a minute, but I need you to understand these three assets, right?
Bring it home.
So the first one is your personal relationships. The second one is your professional development. Each and every one of us, when we're working for a company, we have the ability to obtain training.
Yep.
I don't care if you're working at McDonald's flipping burgers and changing fries. You're still learning a skill that can be monetized.
That's right.
So that professional development, the training you're getting, they might bring in a specialist that teaches you how to understand your personality and communication skills using this. All of those things can be leveraged, and that becomes an asset. So that's the second asset, right? Your professional development. The third asset is your personal development. The person that you was when you first got started with that organization, more than likely you're not that same person. Why? Because you had some experiences, you had some situations, you had some information, like ET says, that changed your situation. And so that story that is being developed as you're working there, you can then leverage that to connect and relate to new people when you step into another realm. Everything that I'm sharing with you all is a combination of stories, of situations. What Kendall has taught us, ULEs. What's a ULE? A unique learning experience, a unique life experience, right? So that's an asset. So when you pull all those three things together, if at any point that company bumps his head and say, we no longer need your service, you just put those three assets in a box and take that with you to the next client, right? Now, here's where LinkedIn comes into play. When you're able to promote those assets to the world, right? LinkedIn allows you to literally put on display your professional brand, which consists of what? Your relationships.
That's right.
Your professional training and experience, and
That's
your
right.
personal growth and development.
Come on.
When you pack those assets together, you're going to attract people that say, you're able to help me fill a gap or fulfill a goal.
There we go.
You're able to help me to fill a gap or fulfill a goal. If you can help people fill a gap, you become valuable. If you can help somebody reach a goal, you become valuable. Okay, so LinkedIn allows you to put that on display so that when people, quote unquote, accidentally find you, which is how the algorithm works, right? People will accidentally find you. When they land on your LinkedIn profile, if you have it set up the right way, the way that I taught Shaan to do it, the way that I'm teaching other clients to do it, your LinkedIn profile will speak for you before people speak to you. Let me say that again. Your LinkedIn profile will speak for you. If you looked at your LinkedIn profile right now, what would it say to somebody? Would it be crickets because you don't have no information on there? Or is it talking $1 million talk like Shaan's is? Because your LinkedIn profile is going to have a language that once people step on there, it's going to appeal to people who are seeking to fill a gap or to fulfill a goal. And if you can do one of those two or both, you become very, very valuable in the marketplace, and you can start to attract paying clients who want to help you to speed up their time, like Shaan mentioned earlier. So that's why I'm in this space of LinkedIn, because no disrespect to any other social media platform, but posting pictures all day, how is that going to help promote your professional brand? How's that going to tell the complete story?
That's right. That's right. Listen, guys, take out your pens, write that down. Listen, LinkedIn Mastery Program, third cohort. You've been through it once or twice. talk about it real quick, maybe 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes, because I do want to let people ask a couple questions because I know we have a hard stop at 9:10. So let's try to get this. Go ahead, chop it up. Let them know where to reach you, and what to do next.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first place I would recommend you reach me is on LinkedIn, Rob YB Youngblood. I'm going to encourage you, please don't just hit the connect button on your phone.
That's right.
Because if you hit the connect button on your phone, it's going to send me a generic message that says, please add me to your network. And that's like you knocking on my door right now saying, please let me in your house. I'm going to say, I don't know you. So the trick is to send a personalized note with your invitation to say, hey, YB, I just heard you on the Breakfast with the Brand podcast with Shaan. I like what you're talking about. Would love to connect with you. Even on Facebook, I've had some people already reach out to me on Facebook. They send me a Facebook friend request, but they don't hit me in the inbox to say the reason why they're sending me an invitation to connect. And that's clutch because you got so many people that want your attention. And so if you don't go the extra mile to say, okay, I'm going to send a friend request, but I'm going to follow up with an instant message to say, hey, YB, the reason why I sent you this friend request is because I heard that you were going to be on the Breakfast with the Brand with Shaan Rais, and I want to get connected to build a professional relationship with you. That is clutch. So I'm teaching that to my clients in the LinkedIn Mastery program, right? Because we focus on mindset. We focus on LinkedIn profile makeovers. We focus on how to measure the strength of your LinkedIn network, right? We focus on how to identify your ideal client and then how to attract them. And lastly, we focus on what are the tips or the tricks that you want to use on a consistent basis to obtain TOMA. TOMA, to obtain TOMA.
Talk about that real quick.
Top of mind awareness.
That's right.
Okay, we talking branding talk right now, right? So it's Breakfast with the Brand, right? So you want top of mind awareness. Why? Because when people think about the specific area that you're in, you want to be the first one they talk about. You want to be the first one they think about. Top of mind awareness. So that's what we're teaching in the LinkedIn Mastery program. I have a few slots remaining, so folks want to get involved. We meet on a weekly basis on Wednesdays from 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, and it's packed full of energy. And you actually get access to my alums and my network for those who have a desire to get involved. So feel free to reach out to me through LinkedIn. If you want to connect with me on Instagram, you could do that as well, YB the Connector. But I highly recommend you connect with me on LinkedIn so we can build a strategic professional relationship.
Let's go. All right. So listen, I cannot endorse enough, right? Listen, I don't even have to endorse. If you see them next to me, my time is precious. I wear my values on my hand. Don't play with mine. I won't play with yours. Family first and everything, right? So this is what we do. This is who we are. So if you see someone next to me, if you see me sharing space, air, talk, conversation with someone, that's validation. They're a man of their word. They can be trusted and they will get the work done. And if not, just come back and tell me, right? Because this is my guy and this is how we chop it up, right? So we a little bit old school rules, old school values. Listen, trust me when I tell you, if you want to get your LinkedIn unlocked and you want to find the people that you need and you want to be able to attract them on LinkedIn specifically, that's the gentleman to speak to. YB, thank you so much for your time. We're going to take like 1 or 2 questions from the people that are watching. I think we should have them now. Deshaun, Junior, Jason, if you guys want to come back on and just speak with YB and introduce the questions that you may have gotten from the crowd right now and the audience. And if you're in the audience and you have a question, put it in the chat real quick because time is limited. If you want to get with this gentleman, get with him at the contact that he left. All right, let's grow. Deshaun, questions?
Yes. Wow. Thank you so much, YB. It is an honor to have you today.
Yes, sir.
We have learned so many gems. And let me just get right into the questions. I have Genta, who did ask a question. She wants to know, how do you use LinkedIn to find prospects and not compromise your job?
There we go.
You touched on that, but go ahead.
That's Great question. That's actually in the top 3 questions that I get. So as I mentioned, most of the people who come to me are those who are currently employed, and they are mindful of how they operate. There's some industries where you really not leverage LinkedIn to the fullest. So if you're in the financial services arena, the financial services arena has certain stipulations that run the actual industry. So I would say the best way to go about identifying prospects is to work on the back end. Right, you don't really have to do a lot of posting on LinkedIn to find your ideal clients. I mean, you're posting on LinkedIn is to kind of keep your brand in front of people. But I would say focus on establishing relationship on the back end. Send people personalized notes to introduce yourself, to let them know who you are and what you do. But I will say this. First, identify if it is a conflict of interest for you to have other things going on outside of the work that you do. Assume that they can't really have nothing else because they got a job, when in actuality you should see your employer as a client. You know, Shaan was my client. That didn't mean that I couldn't work with anybody else. You feel what I'm saying? So find out if it would be a conflict of interest, and if it's not, then put your business on display. Your business on display. You are the brand. And so if you're a consultant, if you're a coach, if you're a speaker, if you're an author, and here's the reality: people want to have a silent business. But if you really kicking up dust like that, your business is not going to be silent for long. People are going to find out about you. I talk to a lot of authors. Like, I don't know if I should promote my book while I'm at work. Listen, if your book is popping like that, people are going to find out about it. So there's no use in you being afraid. So I think a lot of it has to do with mindset. And you don't have to do post to get business. You just have to have a place where people can certify that you do what you say you do. Right? So you can't tell somebody you're a coach, but when I go do a Google search, I can't find nothing about you. You don't have no social proof that you do what you say you do. So therefore, I'm not rocking with you, because I don't want to be the first. I don't want you practicing on me. You know what I'm saying? I need to know if you have receipts. So you want to be mindful. So I would start with your HR and say, hey, would there be any conflicts to me having, something aside? Most times they would say no, as long as it doesn't affect what you do, you're working with us, and as long as you're not reaching out to the same type of clients that you're working with where you're working with us. That's why in the financial services arena, it's a little tricky. So I would say start with that, and then begin to identify who your ideal client is. Create a prospect profile, and then begin to network with other people who may be hanging out with the prospects that you want to get in front of, and see if you can get them to give you referrals as you give them referrals as well. So I would incorporate a combination of those strategies that I mentioned.
Very good. Very good. Do we have any more?
Yes, we have one more question.
Very good.
From Miss Maria Albert. She asks, what is the most valuable tool to attract the ideal client?
On LinkedIn,
well,
I'm gonna leave that to you. Go right ahead,
right? So the most valuable tool, the most valuable tool is LinkedIn, in my opinion. But I'll be honest, it goes deeper than that. Your most valuable tool to attract your ideal client is your mouth. And when I say your mouth, I don't mean talking to people. I mean what you say to yourself. Shaan talked about seeds, right? Every word that comes out of your mouth is a seed that produces a harvest, right? So the words come out of your mouth, they go into your ears. They go from your ears to your brain, then allows you to produce thoughts. Thoughts produce emotions. Emotions then produce activity and actions, and those actions then produce results. So if your goal is to attract certain clients, speaking about the clients that you want to attract. If your goal is to attract six-figure earners, then start saying, I'm a six-figure earner attractive, right? I'm six-figure earner attractive. I'm a magnet for six-figure earners. Everywhere I go, I'm attracting six-figure earners. Start with what's coming out of your mouth before you start with what you're posting on social media. Once you start speaking what you want, your actions are going to then align with that, and you're going to begin to attract the people that you're looking for.
Very good. Very good. Listen, guys, right now, YB's his PayPal. Where do you collect from? You collect from PayPal, Stripe. Where do you collect from when people order your book? What comes up on your phone? Ding, ding, ding. What pops up?
Oh man, yeah, it's a combination of things, man. Stripe
Is it
and
blowing up right
PayPal
now?
is definitely two of the big ones. Oh man, my
Is it
phone's
blowing
going
up?
off, man. I'm hoping y'all don't hear it. I got vibrate.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Show up, show
Yeah.
up, show YB some love for what he just gave you. And let me tell you this. Let me just give you an indication, right? So speaking like a leader is next. We're in the middle of closing like a leader. High-end luxury value clients, high-end luxury deals. This is why you have to get that sophisticated piece together. That's why YB is here, to add value to that aspect, luxury sophistication. If your LinkedIn is locked, you're in trouble. So you need to unlock it. That's why he's here. Number 2, we're doing speaking like a leader next. And that speak up is one of the required readings for that program. One of the required readings for that. So get that's right, brother. Get ahead of it. Get ahead of the curve before we even jump into that program. Go ahead and get the book right now. I want him to come back to me and tell me, listen, my phone blew up, Shaan. Thank you so much, because this is the kind of love that we extend to one another. Understand. Please understand that as a coach, a consultant, a speaker, a blogger, a provider of professional services, you are entering into a community, and it is a tight-knit community where everyone knows everyone, and everyone is literally 1 or 2 relationships away from who you need to know in order to get where you want to go. So your reputation management means absolutely everything, right? You were never far removed from one another, and we speak. We speak up here, right? We speak and we offer a hand down to lift people up and bring them inside with us. So that's what we've done to you. We've extended a hand out to you to bring you in and let you know what the truth is, what the goals are, and what the path is to get there. Listen, YB, I'm so proud of you. Right? Number 1, I'm super proud of you. I see you moving. I see you shaking. I see you traveling, and I love it. Right? As one brother to another, as a father to another, as a husband to another, I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you're doing for the culture. So thank you. You are recognized and appreciated. Right? From one brand to another, you are recognized and appreciated for doing the phenomenal work that you're doing. If you have any last words for this phenomenal group, this audience that have come together, and we're going to leave this up so people can see this later. We're going to send it to people that have questions and issues with their LinkedIn. If you have any last words for them, what would those last words be?
Yeah, there's 2 things I want to foremost. For those of you who are rocking with Shaan, you're rocking with the best. Okay, you're rocking with the best. You don't have to go far to get what you need. But what you do need to do is need to go deep. You don't got to go far. You got to go deep. So many of you may be surface with Shaan, but I'm going to encourage you to go deep. Fight for his attention. Fight to be his number 1 student, right? Because Shaan's doing for me is enabling to increase my visibility, credibility, and profitability. You feel what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, if you become his number 1 student, and he can have multiple students that's rocking, but if you become one of his number 1 students, here's what's going to happen. You're going to be elevated. Why? Because he's going to have something to talk to other people about. Shaan's the type of person that he's not interested in just talking about himself. He wants to give people the limelight and the spotlight. Be one of those people he can elevate. But then the last thing I want to share with you is I want you to be encouraged. Entrepreneurship is tough. I'm just gonna keep it 1,000 with you. It's tough. It's only challenging when you do it by yourself. So if you're in a community, be a part of that community. Don't be a lone ranger, right? But I want you to be encouraged. I want you to know that you are blessed. And I want you to share the faith. I used to tell people, Shaan, to keep the faith, but no, you want to share faith. And when I talk about sharing the faith, I'm not talking religion. I'm talking about understanding that you have a gift that has been placed on the inside of you. I want you to walk out that gift. And the way that you do that is by giving your gift away, right? Once you identify your gift, and if you don't know what your gift is, you need to call Shaan ASAP. He gets you tight. To discover your gift, and once you identify your gift, understand your gift will make room for you, just like it's made room for me. When I got laid off in 2000 from the nonprofit position, I prayed to God that he would deposit within me something that would allow me to learn while utilizing my gifts and talents. And that's when he blessed me with YB Connects.
Come on.
That's when he blessed me with YB Connects. Little did I know that I would meet a brother from Harlem through a coach that I met through another coach, and I would be on here with you. I didn't know that. I didn't know that in 2012. All I did though was I discovered my gift, and my gift is making room for me, meaning that it's not going to stop.
That's right.
So I want you to get tight with Shaan, go deeper with Shaan, and discover your gift so your gift can make room for you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, brother. And listen, I don't want to get on your wife's bad side, so I think it's time for you to go, sir, right? Report to the general, right? And let her know I dispatched you so that she won't come back at my head. Okay, brother? Thank you so much, brother. Again, thank you for being a father. Thank you for being a founder. And thank you for being absolutely phenomenal. Let's grow. Speak soon, brother.
My pleasure. And listen, real quick, Junior and Deshaun, you've already received your invitations to connect on LinkedIn. Junior was the first to hit me up, so I accepted his invite. And Deshaun, you should have an invite for me in your inbox. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you both.
Right. Don't
you
forget
all have
Mr.
a wonderful, blessed.
Definitely.
Oh, Mr. B, I was looking for Mr. B. Mr. B,
Yeah.
I'm looking for you.
It's all right. We'll send you his profile, brother. Yes, sir. Yes,
Let's
sir. Thank you again.
Let's go.
Brother.
Y'all have a great
again,
one. Be encouraged. My pleasure.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yes, sir. All right.